I'm running away from a crowd of zombies, feeling my heart pounding so hard it feels like it might leap out of my chest. My breath grows heavy and erratic as I try to maintain my speed to stay ahead of the undead. My backpack swings wildly on my back, and I keep checking its straps to make sure it doesn't fall off. Sweat drips from my forehead, and my muscles burn with exhaustion. I know I can't keep running this fast, but stopping isn't an option. If I slow down for even a moment, they'll catch me. I can't let that happen. My head spins as I keep running, trying to desperately to escape these monsters. I don't dare look back to see how close they are, but I can feel their breath on my neck, driving me to run faster. My legs feel like lead, and I start to think I'll never reach safety. My breathing is so ragged that I fear I might collapse. I know I need to find shelter, but all I see are burning buildings and ruins. But I don't give up. I keep running, even if it's the only thing I can do. My will to live overpowers the fatigue and fear, and I push onward until I finally spot a safe place. I trip when my foot catches on some broken bricks and fall to the ground. My hand stretches forward to catch me, but there's nothing there, and I land hard on my side. Pain shoots through my thigh as I hit the asphalt, and my breath catches. I try to stand, but my leg won't cooperate, and I realize it's a serious fracture. Looking around, I see zombies closing in from all sides. My eyes widen in horror as I understand I can't escape. My hand finds the pistol on my side, and I grab it, knowing I have only one way out. I start shooting at the zombies, one by one, feeling blood dripping down my fingers. I know I can't take them all down. Resigned, I bend my arm, press the barrel to my temple, and slide my finger over the blood-slit trigger. I wake up. Another nightmare. I guess I've been watching too many horror movies. Opening my eyes, I see the bright white of my room. Wiping sweat from my forehead, I start thinking, why did I make this room so white? I only like black. Oh, right. It was someone's advice. Why do I rely so much on others' suggestions? Lack of self-confidence? Oh no. If I'm anything, it's not insecure. Getting up, I look out the large panoramic window. Beyond the glass barrier, the city of Kiev is bustling with activity. I love this city because, like any big city, it's impossible to feel alone here. You're always caught in whirlwind of events, surrounded by thousands of people, all trying to solve million problems. I don't expect to live long, which is why I'm a big fan of KFC. I often visit fast food restaurants. The first thing I do is toss yesterday's bucket of chicken wings into the microwave. Then I shuffle to the bathroom to brush my teeth. Looking in the mirror, I see a 30-year-old guy with tattoos and an unusual hairstyle. I hardly even notice them anymore. They are just part of me. But my broken nose, smashed in a bar fight 10 years ago, always catches my eye in reflection. I wonder if others see me the way I see myself. Aside from my love of chicken wings, I have another odd fear. The possibility of a zombie apocalypse. Wherever I am, I often imagine it starts at that very moment and wonder, what would I do right now? I'm always mentally preparing for it. At home, I have an arsenal of weapons and supplies, convinced I'd be able to survive if it ever happened. My friends and colleagues often joke about it, calling me paranoid, but I don't pay them any mind. I know I'm ready for any unexpected situation. If not zombies, then maybe a famine. No generation has gone without some catastrophe. Humanity has grown to spoil it by comfort, endless entertainment, and the vast, free wealth of knowledge on the internet. Speaking of computers, I work at an IT company, and I'm very skilled at that I do. Though I always question it whether it's truly my calling. Sometimes the work is fascinating, like last week when I began testing Starlink speeds in a various of conditions for an article on its performance in our part of the world. I'm a technology expert and always keep up with the latest developments in my field. I take pride in working for this company and sharing my experience, but I don't have many people to share it with, except my Doberman. Cerberus. We've been living together in a 9-story building in a central district of the city for a couple of years now. He loves catching chicken wings bones, and I laugh than he does. My dog tries even harder to please me, just to hear, "Good boy, well done." Cerberus has become my constant companion, even joining me on trips to Kiev. One day I decided to take Cerberus on a road trip to other cities in my old but powerful sport car, a Toyota Supra. And I knew he'd be thrilled to be with me as we explored new places together. When we returned, as usual, Cerberus and I headed to Kiev to refill our bodies with our favorite wings. As we were about to leave the restaurant, Cerberus noticed something collapsing and started barking. I dismissed it, assuming it was just a drunk person who had passed out from too much alcohol. "Quiet, buddy! Don't scare people! We don't need any extra attention," I whispered to my furry friend. We returned home and spent the evening together, playing and bonding. I felt happy and content with my life, grateful for my loyal dog who was always by my side. Almost always, we couldn't even stay in separate rooms for more than 5 minutes. One evening, after a long day at work, I wanted nothing more than just to eat and sleep. But when I opened the door, there he was, waiting for his usual walk. "Ah, fine," I thought. "Let's go for a walk and grab some food while we're at it." At the word walk, Cerberus jumped up and barked excitedly. The evening was quiet and warm, a little stuffy, but an occasional breeze tickled my cheeks. I'd never noticed the small joys of nature before, probably because I spent so much hours at my computer, even during my free time. While driving, an unusual thought crossed my mind. What if I leave the car at the restaurant and walk back home instead? When I ordering dinner, the cashier asked,
"Cash a card."
I joked as I pulled out my phone. "No, magic air money." And we both laughed. I was their most frequent customer, so the staff tactfully ignored the fact that I always brought my dog inside. I was probably the only person in the world allowed to bring a dog into KC. This time, I decided to get only wings, no beer, so I could fully enjoy the walk home and the surrounding nature with a clear head. We sat on the restaurant's second floor, near the window. I eagerly bit into my wings, but before I could take my first bite, Cerberus started barking wildly at the table in the distance. Suddenly, the woman sitting there began convulsing, foam pouring from her mouth. On the table in front of her were bones from wings. People crowded around her, trying to help, but after a 10-minute seizure resembling epilepsy, she started biting those around her. Someone in the restaurant shouted, "What are you fucking trying to do, bitch? We're trying to help you!" I moved closer to see what happened. As I approached the woman, I saw her bloodshot eyes and bloody teeth. I was terrified. I realized that the day I had warned others about had come. The zombie apocalypse was here. I froze, observing the scene for a few minutes, trying to gauge how fast people were turning into zombies. When I saw the first biting person lose their humanity within a minute and begin biting others with unnatural speed, I understood. These were fast zombies, running as fast as humans. The hair on my neck stood on the end as panic set in. I clutched Cerberus's leash and ran for the exit, stopping briefly at the door to confirm my fears. Turning my head back, I thought, could this really be happening? It felt like a fog that had always clouded my mind has suddenly lifted. No more codes, websites, walks, training sessions with my little snake in front of the monitor, or mundane routines, just life and death. Everything becomes simpler. I bolted to my car, Cerberus following obediently. Breaking every traffic rule, I sped home, pushing my little two-seater sports car to its limits. I thought it'd be stupid to die in a crash now, but that didn't make me slow down. I was in shock at what was happening. I'd always considered my fears of a zombie apocalypse a bit crazy, but now they were real. Despite Cerberus whining in distress, A million thoughts raced through my mind. I started to realize that, in a strange way, I was almost enjoying all of this. When I parked haphazardly near my building, I quickly ran into my apartment and locked all the doors and windows. My arsenal of weapons and supplies no longer seemed so ridiculous. I began preparing for the fact that life would never be the same again. I checked my food and my water supplies, calculating that I had enough to last for about a month. I also inspected my weapons, including a machete, a rifle, and a Glock 17, making sure they were ready to use. I decided I couldn't just sit idly by and wait for something to happen. I needed to step out and assess the scale of what was going on. Perhaps look at a grocery store or pharmacy while it was still possible. But trembling hands, shortness of breath, and overwhelming fear kept me inside. I acted completely differently from how I'd imagined. All these fantasies and plans of what I'd do when the apocalypse started didn't prepare me for reality. I tried to turn my home into a fortress, sealing half of the windows. I used tools to create the barrier with the wooden boards. Even though I live on the second floor, I didn't know how high they could climb. Besides, there was another danger. People. I knew that facing a zombie up close would be a tough battle, but I mentally prepared myself to fight to the end. Time would tell what this new world had in store for me. I turned on the TV to watch the news. The situation in the city was catastrophic. The zombie outbreak seemed to have reached every corner. Authorities urged people to stay home and only go outside in cases of extreme necessity. Some parts of the city were declared quarantine zones, with entry and exit prohibited. I was shocked at how quickly everything had spiraled out of the control and how hopeless the situation seemed. I began planning my next steps. Ensuring my safety and finding ways to survive were top priorities. Nervously, I checked my food supplies again, organizing everything day by day. I knew I had to act fast before resources ran out entirely. I decided to stay in my apartment, but also sought alternative ways to stay connected to the outside world while the internet was still up. Despite the chaos, I held onto a glimmer of hope for a better future. I continued researching survival strategies online. The most people in the live chats were simply crying for help. "Please, the police aren't answering," and just typed their addresses. I couldn't help but think, what's the point of sharing your location like that? They can have same succeed if they ask, "Why isn't pizza delivery working? I wanted to Hawaiian with pineapple, help." I spent most of my time looking out the window, watching the madness unfold on the streets. Zombies were everywhere, attacking people. It was terrifying, but I felt grateful to be safe inside. Some people still ventured outside, ignoring warning from authorities. I understood it might lead to their death, and resolved to avoid making such a foolish choices myself. But why I acting differently than I'd imagined? I pictured myself fearlessly smashing zombie skulls with a machete. Yet here I was, cowering like a frightened teenager. I spent countless hours online watching videos about the zombie apocalypse to prepare for any situation and improve my chances of survival. I learned about different ways to fight zombies and decided that maps were crucial for planning movements. First, I downloaded digital maps of the city, but realized it would be safer to redraw them onto paper in case the power went out. I set the task aside for later and keep watching YouTube. I also joined live chats to communicate with other survivors, exchanging tips and experience. Every day, I looked out the window, observing the growing number of zombies and their increasingly aggressive behavior. It became clear I'd eventually have to relocate to a safer place. It was unsafe here, no matter what. Dense cities were a terrible idea. Were there still people out there who had no clue? Maybe who didn't watch the news, didn't talk to anyone? Why wasn't everyone grouping up? I couldn't easily be a leader of something like that. I had no one to worry about, no friends, no family, no one to help, no one to warn. One day, I suddenly thought about warning my neighbors to try and secure our apartment building from the zombies. I pushed Cerberus off my lap, jumped up from my chair by the window, and ran to the stairwell. But it was already too late. I saw a zombie on the stairs, rushing toward me. Cerberus ran ahead and started fighting the undead. What a stupid move, I thought to myself. Going out without a weapon at a time like this, what a fucking idiot! From the first floor, another zombie started running up. As much I loved my dog, I faced an impossible choice. Die together with him with a 99% chance, or survive with a 100% certainty but doom Cerberus. I made a split-second decision and slammed the door shut. Tears streaming down my face, I ran to get my rifle to try to save Cerberus, though I knew it was probably too late. Frantically, I searched my apartment for the rifle, which I kept in a safe in a closet. Another stupid habit, locking it away in normal times. My hands were trembling with fear and grief for my dog. I knew time was against me, and every second I could mean the difference between life and death for Cerberus. Finally, I reached the closet, quickly entered the code into the safe, and grabbed the rifle. I loaded it and ran back to the corner, where I could still see Cerberus struggling against the bloodthirsty creatures. I aimed carefully and held my breath to steady the shot. Exhaling, I pulled the trigger. Hitting one of the zombies attacking Cerberus, the undead fell to the ground. But Cerberus was already injured and lay motionless. His eyes, filled by both pain and loyalty, met mine. The second zombie, drenched in blood, charged me. Reloading would take too long. With a strong kick, I struck the zombie in the chest. It stumbled and fell, starting to rise again. I grabbed Cerberus, managed to shut the door, and quickly carried him back inside. I knew he needed medical attention, but I had no idea how to provide it. Using makeshift supplies, I tried to stop the bleeding and bandage his wounds. I grabbed blankets and towels to create a crude first aid tools. As time passed, I realized I needed to find proper help to save Cerberus' life. Searching online, I desperately looking for ways to perform emergency veterinary care at home. But then I discovered the internet had already gone down. No home Wi-Fi, no cellular connection. I felt a deep sense of despair and fear for my doggy. The only option left was to end Cerberus' suffering and prevent him from possibility turning into a zombie. Do dogs even turn? My hands trembled as I gripped his neck, trying to hold back tears that streamed uncontrollably down my face. Cerberus lay weak and still before me, his suffering obvious. I increased the pressure on his neck, my hands shaking from the effort. Soon, his breathing stopped. I sat there, crying and mourning the loss of my best friend. Left alone in my apartment, I struggled to survive and hold on to my sanity in this new, dangerous world. It had been a long time since I was truly alone. I craved company, someone to talk to complain to about all this madness. I kept myself in check when it came to food. But with alcohol, it was like I lost my mind. I drank everything I had without measure, hoping my body would somehow accept it as medicine. Grief is always hard, but now, surrounded by silence, without the distraction of life, it was a suffocating kind of hell. I needed to pull myself together, but a storm of sharp, vivid events had shattered my sanity into pieces. The biggest flaw in my life was that I always bet everything on just one friend. I first realized how dangerous that was after my fallout with Max. There was no one I could even complain to about him. I've been spending all my time on Max, left no space for anyone else. And now, again, my one and only woolly friend was gone. Just like that, I lost everyone I ever cared about. The lifeless body of Cerberus lay in the hallway, a painful reminder that I'd never see him alive again. I avoided looking at him, unable to bear the sight, and hadn't stepped into the blood-stained hallway for a few days. Finally, I came to the grim decision to deal with Cerberus' remains. In a world consumed by zombie epidemic, precautions were necessary even with my beloved pet. I wrapped his body in a curtain, secured it with duct tape, and performed something akin to a prayer. Even though I didn't believe in anything, it was more like a farewell speech. I stood over Cerberus' body and completely fell apart. You were the best friend I ever had. I'll never forget you. I wiped my tears and tried to pull myself together. My head was running, My chest ached like a truck had driven over it, and there was a sharp, high-pitched noise screaming in my ears. I whispered, vowing to stay strong and fight for survival. After finishing my grim task, I took Cerberus' body to the window. I knew it would be foolish to go outside and bury him in the ground. No more foolish acts. I'm still standing by the window. No more tears, no more sorrow. Once the body hits the ground, only fury and rage remain.